Subscribe to love, lies, and cheating. Now let me tell you a story. The first time I got sick, I blamed myself. Too much coffee? Not enough sleep? Another long week pretending I could do everything at once. The second time, I blamed the season. Something going around. Everyone at work had been coughing. By the third time, I stopped blaming anything at all. I just started paying attention. The nausea always came in waves, not violent, not dramatic. Just enough to make me sit down. Enough to make food unappealing. Enough to make my head feel foggy, like I was thinking through cotton. Daniel noticed before I did. "You don't look good," he said one night as I pushed my dinner around the plate. "You barely ate." "I'm fine," I said automatically, because that's what you say when you don't want to invite concern. He frowned, then smiled. The kind of smile meant to reassure. "Let me make you some tea," he said. Daniel was good at taking care of things. That was always his strength. He handled appointments. He handled bills. He handled logistics. I handled everything else. That was our balance. We'd been married 10 years, together for 14. Long enough that routines felt permanent. Long enough that love felt quiet instead of loud. I trusted him. That's important to understand. Nothing in this story works without that part. The sickness came and went over the next few weeks. Never severe enough for an emergency. Never consistent enough to feel urgent, but always enough to slow me down. And Daniel stepped in more and more. He cooked. He picked up groceries. He reminded me to take vitamins. He even scheduled a doctor's appointment when I said I hadn't gotten around to it. "You need to let someone take care of you for once," he said gently. I smiled and agreed. Dr. Collins ran basic tests, blood work, vitals, questions about stress and sleep. Everything came back normal. "Probably a combination of anxiety and exhaustion," he said. "Happens more than people think." I nodded. I wanted that to be the answer. Daniel sat beside me in the exam room, his hand resting on my knee. Concerned, attentive, perfect. Life continued. Work deadlines piled up, emails waited, laundry never stayed folded. And the sickness lingered. It didn't escalate, it didn't resolve. It hovered, like something unfinished. The paperwork came a few weeks later. We were refinancing the house. Lower rates, smart timing. Daniel insisted on handling the financial side. "I'm already talking to the lender," he said. "I'll just send everything over." That wasn't unusual. Daniel liked being useful. The lender emailed asking for standard documents, income verification, tax returns, insurance declarations, and then she asked something casually, like it was nothing. "Do you want to confirm the updated life insurance coverage while we're finalizing everything?" Daniel answered before I could. "That's already been taken care of," he said smoothly. I turned toward him. "Updated?" I asked. He didn't miss a beat. "Yeah," he said. "A few months ago, just increased it a bit." The lender nodded, typing. "Perfect," she said. "Just attach the most recent policy endorsement." We finished the meeting without another word. In the car, I asked him. "When did we do that?" I said. Daniel started the engine. "After your mom got sick," he said. "I just wanted to make sure we were protected." That made sense. Too much sense. My mother's health scare had rattled both of us. I nodded and let it go. That night, while Daniel was in the shower, I opened my laptop. Not because I didn't trust him, because I like to know where things stand. I logged into our insurance portal. The page loaded slowly. Policy number, coverage amount. And then I saw it. The number was wrong. Not slightly, drastically. The policy had been increased to more than double what I remembered. My stomach tightened. I clicked into the documents. The endorsement was dated 3 months earlier, right around the time I first got sick. The form scrolled down. My name was printed neatly at the bottom. And beneath it, my signature. At least something that looked like it. I stared at it. The shape was familiar. The flow was similar. But it wasn't mine. I knew my own signature. Everyone does. This one leaned too far to the right. The loop on the S was wrong. It was a good imitation. But it was an imitation. My heart started beating faster. I checked the witness line. Witness. Andrew Miller, licensed agent. I didn't recognize the name. I sat there in the quiet living room, laptop glowing, listening to the shower run. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. Mistakes happen. Digital forms glitch. Names get auto-filled. Still, my hands shook as I clicked Agent Details. Andrew Miller. License number listed. Office phone. I copied the number. When Daniel came out of the shower, I closed the laptop. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Because something about this didn't feel like a simple mistake. It felt careful. Over the next few days, I felt worse. Not dramatically, but noticeably. Headaches, dizziness, a strange metallic taste in my mouth that came and went. Daniel noticed immediately. "You should rest," he said. "I'll handle dinner." Again, the pattern was subtle, but it was there. I called the number on the policy from my office the next afternoon. Andrew answered on the second ring. Professional, calm. I introduced myself. "I'm calling about a policy update from a few months ago," I said. "There might be an issue with the paperwork." There was a pause, just a fraction too long. "Of course," Andrew said. "Which policy number?" I gave it to him. Keys clicked. Silence. Then he said something that made my skin go cold. "Yes," he said. "I remember that one." Remembered. Not, "Let me pull it up." Not, "I see it here." Remembered. "I don't recall signing it," I said carefully. "And I don't recognize my signature." Another pause. Longer this time. "That's unusual," Andrew said. "I personally witnessed both signatures." Both. Plural. "Both?" I repeated. "Yes," he said. "Yours and your husband's." My mouth went dry. "I was never there," I said. Andrew cleared his throat. "Well," he said slowly, "your husband said you were unwell that day, that you authorized him to handle it." Authorized. I felt a chill spread through me. "And you were comfortable with that?" I asked. Andrew hesitated. "He assured me it was routine," he said. "He said you trusted him completely." I thanked him and hung up. My hands were shaking now. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't a clerical error. This was a decision. I sat there, staring at the wall, replaying the past few months in my head. The sickness, the timing, the paperwork. And suddenly, a thought crossed my mind that I didn't want to have. What if this wasn't about protection? What if it was about preparation? Daniel came home early that night. He looked pleased, relaxed. "Good news," he said. "I got a bonus." I smiled weakly. "That's great," I said. He leaned in and kissed my forehead. "You look tired," he said. "Did you eat today?" I nodded. It was a lie. Later, as he cooked dinner, I watched him from the doorway. The ease of his movements, the familiarity, the way he handled things with quiet confidence. I wondered how long he'd been practicing. I wondered how long I hadn't noticed. And for the first time since the sickness started, fear crept in. Not fear of being ill, fear of being managed, fear of being handled the same way paperwork was handled. Quietly, efficiently, without my consent. That night, I didn't eat the dinner he made. I said I wasn't hungry. He frowned, then smiled again. Tomorrow, he said, we'll get you feeling better. As he turned out the lights, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, because something inside me had shifted, and I knew, with a clarity that scared me, that whatever was happening wasn't over. It was just getting started. I didn't sleep much after that, not because I was afraid of Daniel, not yet. Because once you notice a pattern, your brain won't stop replaying it. Every glass of water he handed me, every plate he slid across the table, every pill he reminded me to take. I told myself I was being dramatic. Daniel had never been cruel, never been aggressive, never raised his voice at me. But cruelty doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks helpful. The next morning, I woke up nauseous again. Daniel noticed immediately. Still not feeling great? He asked. I shook my head. Maybe I should take today off, I said. He nodded too quickly. That's probably a good idea, he said. I'll work from home and keep an eye on you. The idea of him being around all day made my stomach twist even more. No, I said, forcing a smile. I think I just need rest. He hesitated, just for a second. Then he smiled again. Okay, he said. Call me if you need anything. After he left, I sat at the kitchen table and stared at my coffee. I didn't drink it. Instead, I poured it down the sink. Then I poured myself a glass of water from the tap. I took one sip. Metallic. That taste did again. I set the glass down and didn't touch it. Around noon, I drove myself back to Dr. Collins's office. No appointment, no warning. I told the receptionist I felt worse and I needed to speak to someone. Dr. Collins saw me within an hour. He ran more tests, different tests this time. He asked more questions, detailed questions. What are you eating? Any supplements? Any new medications? Any chance of environmental exposure? I answered honestly. Nothing unusual. Same routine, same house, same food. Dr. Collins frowned. Your labs are still mostly normal, he said. But something's off. What kind of off? I asked. He hesitated. Subtle imbalances, he said. Nothing dangerous on its own, but together. He didn't finish the sentence. Together what? I pressed. Together they suggest exposure, he said carefully. To something small, repeatedly. My heart started pounding. Exposure to what? I asked. Dr. Collins leaned back. I can't say yet, he said. But I want you to be cautious. How? I asked. Pay attention to what you consume, he said. Food, drinks, supplements, everything. I nodded. My hands were shaking again. I drove home slowly. When I walked into the house, Daniel wasn't there. He must have gone into the office after all. I stood in the kitchen, looking around like it was a crime scene. The fridge, the cabinets, the spice rack. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I opened the trash can. Empty. He'd taken it out. That night, I didn't confront him. I didn't accuse him. I didn't even change my behavior much. Instead, I did something else. I stopped consuming anything I didn't prepare myself. I made my own tea. I poured my own water. I ate simple foods I cooked while he was at work. And slowly, the sickness eased. Not completely, but noticeably. That scared me more than getting worse ever could have. Daniel noticed too. You seem better today, he said one evening. I feel better, I said. He smiled, but his eyes flicked to my plate, to the food, to the glass of water. I saw it. That was the first crack. The second came 2 days later. Andrew called me, not emailed, not messaged, called. Sarah, he said, we need to talk. My pulse spiked. About what? I asked. I shouldn't have witnessed that form, he said quietly. I closed my office door. Why did you? I asked. Andrew exhaled. Daniel insisted, he said. He said you trusted him completely. You already said that, I replied. I didn't tell you everything, Andrew said. I waited. He told me you were unwell, Andrew continued, that you didn't want to deal with paperwork, that you'd given verbal consent. That's not enough, I said. I know, Andrew said, and that's why I'm calling. My stomach dropped. What changed? I asked. Andrew hesitated. I've been replaying the meeting, he said, and something about it didn't sit right. What? I pressed. He brought the forms already signed, Andrew admitted. Both of them. My breath caught. You didn't see me sign anything, I said. No, Andrew said. I didn't. Silence stretched between us. Then why did you sign as witness? I asked. Andrew's voice dropped. Because Daniel said you were on your way, he said. And then you texted. I froze. I texted? I asked. Andrew swallowed. Yes, he said. From your number. My skin went cold. What did the text say? I asked. Andrew paused. It said, I'm not feeling well. Please proceed without me. I authorized Daniel to sign. I stared at the wall. I had never sent that message. I didn't send that, I said. I know, Andrew said quietly. I checked the timestamp later. It was sent while you were supposedly at a doctor's appointment. I thought back. 3 months ago. The first appointment Daniel had scheduled for me. The first day I'd felt sick enough to stay home. The pieces started aligning. I'm not the only one he's done this to, am I? I asked. Andrew didn't answer immediately. No, he said finally. You're not. My stomach twisted. How many? I asked. Andrew sighed. I can't say, he said. But there are patterns. That word again, patterns. He's very persuasive, Andrew added. He frames things as urgent, necessary, protective. Protective. I thanked Andrew and hung up. Then I sat there for a long time. Because this wasn't about love anymore. It wasn't even about betrayal. It was about control. And control is patient. That night, Daniel cooked again. Pasta, sauce, bread, comfort food. I watched him carefully. He moved easily, confidently. When he handed me the plate, I smiled. Thank you, I said. I ate a few bites, enough to make it believable, enough to keep him comfortable. Then I excused myself early, saying I felt tired. I went to bed and pretended to sleep. I listened. Daniel moved around the kitchen. Dishes clinked. The sink ran. Then, a pause. Footsteps. The bedroom door opened quietly. I kept my breathing slow. I heard the nightstand drawer open, then close. The door shut again. My heart was racing. The next morning, my vitamins were back on the nightstand. The same bottle Daniel had insisted I take every day. I picked it up. Something was different. The seal was broken. I didn't take one. Instead, I slipped the bottle into my bag before leaving for work. At my office, I locked my door and emptied the pills onto a clean sheet of paper. They looked normal. White. Round. But I'd learned something in my job. Normal doesn't mean safe. I sent an email to Dr. Collins. Brief. Direct. I need these analyzed, I wrote. Discreetly. He responded within the hour. Bring them in, he said. That afternoon, I drove straight to his office. He took the bottle and examined it. He frowned. These aren't what's listed on the label, he said. My throat tightened. What are they? I asked. Mostly supplements, he said slowly, but combined with something else. With what? I asked. He looked up at me. With something that makes absorption stronger, he said. My hands clenched. Can they make me sick? I asked. Yes, he said. Over time. Can they make me worse? I asked. He hesitated. They can make you weaker, he said carefully. And that's dangerous if someone wants you weak. I stared at him. You think someone is doing this intentionally, I said. Dr. Collins met my eyes. I think you need to remove yourself from whatever environment this is happening in, he said. I nodded. I already knew that. That night, I told Daniel I was going to stay with my sister for a few days. Just to rest, I said. He looked startled. Why? He asked. I think I need space, I said gently. He recovered quickly. Of course, he said. I'll miss you. He hugged me tightly. Too tightly. As I pulled away, I saw something in his eyes. Not concern. Calculation. I packed a small bag, left the vitamins behind. When I walked out the door, my heart was pounding. Because for the first time since this started, I was stepping out of his reach. And I knew deep down that once I did that, he would make a mistake. The first night at my sister's house was the first night I slept without getting sick in months. That alone told me everything I needed to know. No nausea, no dizziness, no metallic taste, just exhaustion. The kind that settles into your bones once adrenaline finally lets go. I didn't tell my sister what was happening. Not yet. I said I needed rest. That work had been overwhelming, that Daniel and I needed a little space. She believed me. People usually do. The next morning, Dr. Collins called. I have results, he said. My heart started pounding. What did you find? I asked. He chose his words carefully. There were substances present that shouldn't be combined, he said. Nothing illegal on their own. But together, they can cause exactly what you described. My hands tightened around the phone. Could someone do this intentionally? I asked. Yes, he said. And based on the dosage and pattern, this wasn't accidental. The room felt smaller. How long? I asked. At least a few months, he said. Possibly longer. 3 months. The same 3 months since the policy was increased. I thanked him and hung up. Then I sat there, staring at the wall, trying to reconcile 2 versions of my life. The one where Daniel was my husband, and the one where Daniel was carefully weakening me while signing my name to paperwork I'd never seen. I called Andrew next. He answered immediately. I've been waiting, he said. Waiting for what? I asked. For you to leave, he replied. That chilled me. You knew? I said. I suspected, he said. After the forms, after the timing, after you started getting sick. And you didn't say anything? I asked. Andrew exhaled. I was afraid, he admitted. Daniel made it very clear he didn't want questions. Did he threaten you? I asked. Andrew hesitated. Not directly, he said, but he implied consequences. I closed my eyes. Andrew, I said, how many times did you sign for me? Silence. Andrew, I repeated. 3, he said quietly. My stomach dropped. 3 forged signatures, I said. Yes, he said. What else? I asked. Andrew swallowed. There was a secondary beneficiary amendment, he said, and a rider. My heart started racing. What kind of rider? I asked. A temporary beneficiary rider, he said, in case of incapacity. Incapacity. A word that suddenly carried weight. Who was listed? I asked. Andrew didn't answer right away. Andrew, I said. Daniel, he said. Only Daniel. I felt sick again, not physically, something colder. He wasn't just preparing for an outcome, he was positioning himself. I asked Andrew to send me copies of everything he had. All of it, I said. He agreed. When the documents came through, I printed them and spread them across my sister's dining table. Dates, signatures, witness lines, everything lined up too neatly. Except one thing, the witness license number. Andrew's number was correct on 2 forms, but on the third, it was off by 1 digit. A simple mistake, or a deliberate one. I called the licensing board. I didn't identify myself as a spouse. I asked as a compliance officer doing a routine check. They confirmed it. That license number didn't belong to Andrew. It belonged to someone else. Someone whose license had expired 2 years earlier. Someone who hadn't worked in insurance since. Someone Daniel had no legitimate reason to involve. Which meant one thing. Daniel didn't just rely on Andrew. He had options, multiple people, multiple pathways. This wasn't desperation. This was planning. That afternoon, Daniel called. His voice was soft, concerned. "Hey," he said. "How are you feeling?" "Better," I said truthfully. "I'm glad," he said. "You worried me." There it was again. Concern, wrapped around control. "I might stay a little longer," I said. "Just until I feel normal again." A pause. "Too long." "Of course," he said finally. "Whatever you need." But his voice was tight. He was losing access. I hung up and stared at my phone. Then it buzzed again. A text. "Daniel, did you take your vitamins today?" I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded everything to an attorney recommended by my firm. A woman named Lisa. Sharp. Precise. She reviewed the documents and called me within the hour. "This is serious," she said. "Forgery, fraud, potential intent." "I don't want to accuse without proof," I said. "You already have proof," she replied. "What you need now is protection." Protection. The word landed differently now. "From what?" I asked. Lisa didn't hesitate. "From escalation," she said. "When people lose control, they make mistakes." That night, Daniel showed up at my sister's house, unannounced. I saw his car from the window and felt my heart jump. He knocked softly, like he was trying not to alarm anyone. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. "I was worried," he said. "You weren't answering." "I needed space," I said. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Can we talk?" he asked. I stepped outside instead. The air felt heavy. "You're doing better," he said, studying my face. "Yes," I said. He nodded. "That's good," he said. "I was afraid it might be something serious." "Why?" I asked. He blinked. "Why what?" he asked. "Why would you be afraid of that?" I pressed. He recovered quickly. "Because I love you," he said. I watched him carefully. "I spoke to the insurance company," I said. His jaw tightened. "Oh?" he said. "Yes," I replied. "There are signatures I don't recognize." He sighed. "I told you," he said gently. "You authorized me." "No," I said. "I didn't." He leaned closer. "You were sick," he said. "You don't remember everything clearly." That sentence made my blood run cold, because it wasn't concern. It was gaslighting. "I remember enough," I said. He studied me for a long moment. Then he changed tactics. "Sarah," he said quietly, "this isn't helping your recovery." There it was. The implication. The threat wrapped in care. "I think you should leave," I said. His eyes flicked to the door. "To your sister?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He straightened. "Okay," he said, "but we'll talk about this later." Later, like this was temporary, like he still had time. As he walked away, he turned back once. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," he said. I watched him drive off. Then I locked the door and leaned against it, shaking. The next morning, Lisa called again. "I ran a deeper check," she said. My stomach dropped. "And?" I asked. "Daniel has been listed as a contingent beneficiary on 2 other policies," she said. "Other policies?" I repeated. "Yes," she said. Not yours. A chill crept through me. Whose? I asked. Lisa hesitated. His previous spouse, she said. I froze. I saw his car from the window and felt my heart jump. He knocked softly, like he was trying not to alarm anyone. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. I was worried, he said. You weren't answering. I needed space, I said. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Can we talk? He asked. I stepped outside instead. The air felt heavy. You're doing better, he said, studying my face. Yes, I said. He nodded. That's good, he said. I was afraid it might be something serious. Why? I asked. He blinked. Why what? He asked. Why would you be afraid of that? I pressed. He recovered quickly. Because I love you, he said. I watched him carefully. I spoke to the insurance company, I said. His jaw tightened. Oh? He said. Yes, I replied. There are signatures I don't recognize. He sighed. I told you, he said gently. You authorized me. No, I said. I didn't. He leaned closer. You were sick, he said. You don't remember everything clearly. That sentence made my blood run cold. Because it wasn't concern. It was gaslighting. I remember enough, I said. He studied me for a long moment. Then he changed tactics. Sarah, he said quietly, this isn't helping your recovery. There it was. The implication. The threat wrapped in care. I think you should leave, I said. His eyes flicked to the door. To your sister? He asked. Yes, I said. He straightened. Okay, he said, but we'll talk about this later. Later, like this was temporary, like he still had time. As he walked away, he turned back once. Don't make this harder than it needs to be, he said. I watched him drive off. Then I locked the door and leaned against it, shaking. The next morning, Lisa called again. I ran a deeper check, she said. My stomach dropped. And? I asked. Daniel has been listed as a contingent beneficiary on 2 other policies, she said. Other policies? I repeated. Yes, she said. Not yours. A chill crept through me. Whose? I asked. Lisa hesitated. His previous spouse, she said. I froze. The call came 3 days later. Not from Daniel. Not from Andrew. Not from my sister. From the insurance company's legal department. Their tone had changed. This wasn't about corrections anymore, or paperwork. This was about intent. We've completed a preliminary internal review, the attorney said, and we need to ask you some questions. I sat at my sister's kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug I hadn't touched. What kind of questions? I asked. About timing, she said, and about access. She explained that after I filed the fraud complaint, they pulled Daniel's activity history across multiple carriers. Not just ours. There were inquiries, requests for quotes, policy simulations, riders reviewed but not executed, all clustered around one period, the same period I'd been sick. He was shopping, she said, not just updating. Shopping for payouts, for scenarios, for contingencies. They flagged something else, too. A digital signature audit. The text message Andrew mentioned, the one supposedly sent from my phone, had metadata attached. It didn't originate from my device. It came from a desktop, Daniel's work laptop. My hands started shaking. That's not all, she continued. The witness signature on the 3rd document, the one with the wrong license number, had been traced. Not to Andrew, to a different agent, an agent who admitted he never met me, never spoke to me, never verified consent. He said Daniel paid him directly, cash, To handle paperwork. That word again. Handle. They asked me if Daniel had access to my medications, my vitamins, my food. I answered honestly. Yes, I said. There was a pause. Then she said something I'll never forget. We believe the policy changes were made in anticipation of a claim, she said, and we believe your illness was not coincidental. The words settled into the room like dust, not dramatic, not explosive, just heavy. After the call, I sat in silence. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, because by then the truth had already passed shock and entered something colder. Clarity. Lisa called an hour later. The insurer is escalating, she said. They're coordinating with authorities. I closed my eyes. About what? I asked. Fraud, she said, and possible intentional harm. YouTube safe words, real-world consequences. I asked what I should do. Lisa didn't hesitate. Do not see him again, she said. Do not communicate without counsel, and do not go back to the house. I followed her instructions. Daniel texted, then called, then emailed. His messages shifted, first concern, then confusion, then anger, then something darker. Daniel, you're misunderstanding everything. Daniel, you're ruining our life. Daniel, we can fix this if you stop. Stop. Like the truth was something I was doing to him. I didn't respond. 2 days later, Andrew contacted me again. He sounded shaken. They questioned me, he said. Who? I asked. The carrier and someone else. My stomach tightened. Authorities? I asked. Yes, he said. What did you tell them? I asked. The truth, he said. Everything. He told me Daniel had coached him, reassured him, promised nothing would come of it. He told me Daniel framed it as protecting a sick spouse. I didn't think he was dangerous, Andrew said quietly. I just thought he was controlling. Those two things are not opposites. They often coexist. That night, my sister told me someone had driven past her house slowly. Twice. I didn't need to ask who. I called Lisa immediately. She coordinated with local police. Nothing dramatic happened. No confrontation, just documentation. That was enough. The next morning, Daniel was served. Not with divorce papers, with notice, financial freeze, no contact order, investigation pending. I wasn't there to see his reaction, but I heard about it later. He was calm, polite. He asked questions. He smiled. Because men like Daniel always believe charm will save them. It didn't. Over the following weeks, the picture filled in. Daniel had taken out small insurance policies years ago, on business ventures, on partnerships, on people close to him, nothing illegal by itself. But together? A map. He'd never filed a claim, because nothing had happened, until he needed it to, until he saw opportunity, until my illness gave him a window. The medical analysis confirmed it. The substances in my system weren't lethal. They were weakening, designed to make me disoriented, dependent, less likely to question, more likely to rely on him, more likely to let him handle things. And if something had gone wrong, if my body had reacted differently, the payout would have been ready, the paperwork complete, the signatures in place. That's what broke me. Not the betrayal, the calculation. He didn't snap. He didn't lose control. He planned, slowly, methodically. The house was searched. The vitamins were tested. Additional substances were found in the kitchen, in things I hadn't touched since leaving. Daniel didn't deny it. He minimized it. He said he was helping. He said he never meant for anything serious to happen. He said he was overwhelmed. That word again. Overwhelmed. As if pressure turns people into monsters by accident. The marriage was dissolved quickly, not contested. Daniel didn't fight it, because legally he couldn't. The policies were voided, flagged. His name added to internal watch lists across carriers. Andrew lost his license. Not because he was malicious, because he was careless, because he let charm override duty. I testified quietly. No courtroom drama, just statements, facts, dates, documents. Dr. Collins confirmed everything medically. Lisa handled everything legally. I handled myself. The hardest part wasn't the paperwork. It was the memories, replaying moments and realizing what they really were. The concern wasn't love. The help wasn't kindness. The care wasn't care. It was preparation. Daniel eventually stopped contacting me. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he blamed me, that he said I overreacted, that he said nothing bad had actually happened. That's how people like him survive. They rewrite reality. But records don't rewrite themselves, and neither does the body. Months later, my health fully returned. No nausea, no fog, no weakness, just grief. And then acceptance. I moved into a smaller place, closer to work. I changed routines, changed locks, changed everything. Sometimes, late at night, I think about how easily this could have ended differently. How close I was to trusting him one step further. How often danger doesn't arrive screaming. It arrives smiling, holding a cup of tea, offering to help. This story isn't about love. It's about lies dressed up as protection. It's about paperwork that looks harmless. About signatures that seem small. About how control hides behind concern. And how sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't hatred. It's someone deciding they know what's best for you and acting on it without your consent. Don't forget to subscribe to Love, Lies, and Cheating. Until we meet again.